What's good, y'all? My name is Ferris Abanil, and in this video, I'm going to be covering how to go on a dopamine detox. So let's go ahead and jump straight into my MacBook. Okay, boys, welcome to the absolute motherboard of a Miro board where I'm going to be talking about dopamine detoxing today. I want to say before anything else that this video is either going to leave a very, very great impact on your life and a potential new lifestyle change, or it's not going to do anything for you at all. That's ultimately all up to you. So if you clicked on this video, I'm just going to preface by saying it's not optimized for retention or entertainment. Obviously, because this literally looks pretty shitty and not intriguing at all. So it's the information is there for you if you want it. You just have to, apply it to your life. Any educational video that I've watched through multiple times over, and I've really applied every single component to my life. So again, the information in the video is designed to help people facing problems of overstimulated dopamine sensors, which I'm going to talk a lot about today in the video. And I want to say, click off this video if you're not willing to commit to the duration of the video and actually apply the information that you hear. I really just spent weeks and weeks putting everything together, and everything that I know together and additional research on top with the intent to help you have a successful detox. And again, I want to say that this is a commitment to a new lifestyle change. Dopamine detoxing is not a temporary fix for whatever you might be facing right now. So treat the dopamine detox as a commencement into a new lifestyle change. That's how I want you to preface your mind into watching this video. So go ahead, dive in. So the first thing I'm going to be talking about is diagnosing the problem, because I didn't even know I had a problem of overstimulated dopamine sensors until I realized that I had a lot of the symptoms. So I want to talk about the symptoms that I personally experienced myself and see if any of these resonate with you. So for years, I dealt with symptoms that I thought were just normal part of growing up as a teen. I never had motivation. I was bored very, very easily. I didn't feel real fulfillment in doing any task for real, and I had constant anxiety, overthinking like crazy, and I felt numb mentally or disconnected from my friends and family. Shame and guilt after cheap pleasure like porn or scrolling or junk food. And what I experienced behaviorally. So I procrastinated everything I did. I literally could not go without my phone for more than 30 seconds and just picking it up to check nothing on my phone at all. I struggled to sit still or do nothing at all, telling myself I'd sleep early but staying up till 3, 4, 5 a.m., waking up unmotivated, craving shitty food or eating literally just to do something. I just had to fill my time up with something, so I ate. And having to do everything with a video, song, podcast playing in the background. So mentally, what this did for me, my attention span was very, very low. I had brain fog all the time. I couldn't enjoy the slow and meaningful tasks like how I fell in love with running recently. I just could not enjoy that. And I was hyper fixated on the outcome. I was just thinking to myself, like, how can I get to this outcome as fast as possible? If I was in the gym, how could I get to the outcome as fast as possible? Meaning that, how could I get the pump? I was chasing the pump every single time. And the problem was that my brain's dopamine sensors were overstimulated, meaning that I was so overwhelmed with so many artificial highs in my day that I was desensitized to healthy rewards. Next thing I want to talk about is identifying the source, because I really didn't know what it was for me for the longest time. And once I actually start to take the time to self reflect and self analyze and realize what was the issue, then I understood what I had to target and eliminate from my life. So if you're still watching this, you now realize you have the problem of overstimulated dopamine sensors. And what I want you to do is imagine a life, what it would look like for you if you had none of those symptoms that I mentioned, which resonated with you, and they were magically fixed. Think about that, right? Because that is ultimately what you want. That's your desired state. So think about how that man would operate. How would he go about his days? How would he wake up? What does he think? How does he respond in certain situations? How does he react when he's bored? That's what you want to do. You want to align yourself more and more congruent with that desired state, which you create for you in your mind. And that is my goal for you after successfully detoxing yourself. And in order to do that, you have to identify what your problem is first. So here's a list of different problems, and it's not just limited just to these, but something so you can start thinking about what problems might be faced in your life right now. So is it porn and masturbation, junk food and sugar, constant background noise? That was a big one for me. Video games or fast-paced media, drugs, nicotine, caffeine, notification, message checking, multitasking constantly, or endless scrolling. And if you're like me, you most likely relate to all of these sources. And something I didn't touch on, but I always was just craving junk food. Like I had to fill up my time with something. So I always had, a meal out in my day. So you have to understand yourself first. You have to understand what triggers you have, and you have to look at yourself from a unbiased perspective, meaning that if you weren't who you were right now, if you had a camera just following you 24/7, what kind of problems would that camera pick up? What would that camera see that you aren't doing right, that you want to change? And you have to be unbiased about it, and you have to be very just towards yourself. So finally, working towards a solution, dopamine detoxing. This is why you clicked on this video. So over the next 7 days, you need to create a new version of you. I want to reiterate, this isn't meant to be a temporary fix that's just going to create some new fairy tale lifestyle and everything's going to be happy. If that was the case, you would just go right back to scrolling. You go right back to porn. You go right back to junk food. But this is more of a commencement into a new lifestyle change. That's how I want you to treat this dopamine detox. And it's not supposed to be fucking easy. The things that I'm about to go through is not going to be easy. And you're going to realize that. And you're going to be very hesitant as you think about, as I'm talking about the phases you go into dopamine detoxing. You're going to be very hesitant whether or not you want to do it. But you have to push yourself through the hard stuff first, and you will reap the rewards at the end of the journey you're on. So let's go ahead and dive into the different phases of dopamine detoxing. So I split up into 3 different phases for a 7-day period of this kind of protocol. And phase 1 is awareness day. This is what I was just talking about. Understand what your tics, your triggers are. What current dopamine sources are you gaining from? Is it porn? Is it video games? Is it background noise? All of these different things that I just talked about, right? What is it for you? You can start to ask yourself questions like these, right? What do you reach for when you feel bored, stressed, lonely? Because I know for me, I would pick up my phone just randomly and check my Snapchat messages, see if the hoes were texting me back or something. Way back when I was a fucking degenerate. But, list them out, whether it's all of these, which I won't reiterate again, but really be unbiased towards yourself. And more than likely, looking at this list right now, you know which one it is for you. You know it's either social media, you know it's either porn, masturbation, TikTok, junk food. You know what it is for you, and don't be biased. Don't be like, I deserve scrolling today. I don't have anything going on. No, that's not what you're here for. So going into phase 2, a full 24-hour dopamine detox. This is the hard part, bro. This is the part that I really had to push myself through because it's not fucking easy. The lifestyle change you want to make for yourself, it's not going to be easy. It's not. So the mission is to fully reset your dopamine receptors to a baseline level. And the non-negotiables for this first phase, the second phase, is no phones, screens, or internet. No phones, screens, or internet. No music, podcast, caffeine, or sugar. No talking unless necessary, of course. And eating only real and whole foods. This is a picture of an average dinner for me. Honestly, what changed me for the better is the way that I've eaten. Because I didn't understand that the food that I fueled myself up with had a direct correlation to my neurological ability, meaning that I dealt with brain fog, I dealt with all these symptoms, but it was really the food that transformed this. This is really what took me to that next level of a different lifestyle change. And honestly, in this first 24 hours, just eating clean for 24 hours is not going to really do anything for you, anything at all. But it's simply just the act of getting yourself this way. Again, this is a commencement into a new lifestyle change. So it's not like you eat clean today and fully drop it the next day. No. This is, you got to go fully in all the way first. That's why when you're sitting above a cold pool, right? It's going to springtime and you're about to go into a pool and the water's kind of cold. You don't want to go into it, but once you get into that water, you start adjusting your body temperature to the water. It's gonna feel a lot nicer. All of your friends are on the pool saying like, "Bro, just jump in." It sucks at first, but once you get in the water, it feels warm. You just got to get yourself through that first barrier. So instead of just tipping your toes in the water, your feet in the water, go fully into the water, fully commit to this lifestyle change. Go on a full dopamine detox, no phones, only whole foods, and then go back into it. Once you're in the water, it's gonna be a lot warmer, so stick to it. You don't want to start getting out of the water, you're gonna start getting cold, right? I hope you see the analogy that I'm starting to piece together. So just commit to that lifestyle change. It's not, you're not gonna reap the benefits at first, but it's about the consistent effort that you put in. So how you spend your time in phase two is very important too, because I mean you're looking at the non-negotiables, right? Like what the fuck am I supposed to do in my day? Journaling, reading, nonfiction or spiritual only. Fiction is bullshit. Nature walks, stretching or body weight workouts, breath work or meditation, sitting in silence. Sounds fucking boring, right? Well, it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be easy. And in this time, what I really dealt with when I was, very overstimulated with dopamine is I had my thoughts suppressed. Things that I didn't fully accept, like past trauma in my life. I couldn't fully comprehend it because I suppressed my thoughts with different types of social media, or different types of dopamine, different types of artificial dopamine, like junk food, like video games, everything I've been talking about today. And in this time, you're likely going to have some epiphanies that you wouldn't have had if you hadn't have done this, because you're giving yourself a chance to listen to your own thoughts. So during this 24 hours, I remember, bro, just the when I go into the next phase, like everything just feels quiet in this first in phase two. Everything feels quiet. It's very quiet along with your thoughts, but you need this time to self reflect. You really do. Going into phase three is a partial dopamine detox. In this phase, the goal of the mission is to reintroduce dopamine with intention. Keyword intention here. You're not just going to go back from a 24-hour dopamine detox and then instantly go to your phone. No, no, no. Use your phone only for essential tasks like timers, like calls, really essential. For me, I couldn't tell myself I could only limit myself to X amount of time in my day for my phone. I couldn't do that. It was either I use my phone or I don't use it at all. So for me, it was, I mean, obviously I make calls, I use my timer on my phone, just for example. But it's more about going all the way in. Like I just said, jumping fully into that pool, fully into this lifestyle change. I didn't do well when I told myself I was going to limit myself to 30 minutes a day. Maybe you're like me and you set a time limit on certain apps like Instagram. I would always, when that white screen popped up and it said, "Do you want to extend it by 15 minutes?" or "Okay, click off the app," I always hit extend until today. Always. So it never worked for me, and I just thought it was stupid for me even trying that. So the screen time really didn't work for me. And if you're the same way, then preferably just don't go on social media for 8 months straight. Before I was starting to post on social media, I did not go with any socials at all. For 8 months straight, I lived without social media. And to be honest, that was the most peaceful period in my life. I felt great. I didn't check any socials. I didn't care. I was just, focused on my goals. In this time as well, you want to avoid food, porn, binge watching, or doom scrolling, obviously, because those are high artificial dopamine sources. Set intentional blocks of boredom time daily. This one's kind of weird, and honestly, it's kind of like you're taking, again, that's the point. It's the partial detox from the 24-hour detox, because in this time you're going to be really fucking bored. And as you slowly start to integrate yourself back into this kind of new lifestyle change, you want to have periods of your day where you're just not doing anything. It's okay to get angry with that. Like, it's tough to just sit with yourself, especially when I started to do it for the first time. I literally could not sit with myself. I couldn't. So it's just something you practice and you get better with over multiple reps and periods of time. So setting intentional blocks of boredom, maybe 30 minutes to an hour every single day. The last thing for this partial detox is practicing a morning routine free of stimulation. And this is very essential, but no phone in the first hour of waking. That's something that I still hold to this day, even after detoxing a while back. But the reason why I have 545 right here is because my morning routine I've had for over a year now has been the reason why I've been able to progress so much, because I have a 4 step simple morning routine that reflects on my macro perspective goals, being my health, being my finances, being my business. All of these macro goals that I have set for myself, my morning routine reflects on them, and it puts me in a flow state to really just attack my day. So the 545 is 5 needle moving tasks that I have to do that day to move me closer towards the macro goal. It's a 4 step simple morning routine that reflects on those macro goals, and it's 5 macro goals that I'm working towards in the long term. So just for example, for the 4 steps of simple morning routine that I used to do is I would wake up, I'd instantly hydrate myself with 32 ounces of water. I'd throw in Baja Gold sea salt and lemon, what's it, a squeeze of lemon for boosting my metabolism. I would make my bed. I would do 50 push ups outside, and then I would do a cold shower to really shock my mind and body and put me in a flow state to attack my day. Nothing more than 30 to 45 minutes, and it really just propelled my day. And it's something I still can't go without today because it's been so helpful for me. So that's the partial detox right there. And then going into the conclusion, right? After these 7 days, the partial detox is from day 2 to 7. So after these 7 days, I just said this, but you rarely get time to really sit down and listen to your own thoughts before you suppress them with outside stimulation. So in times when I was my brain was very overstimulated with dopamine, with artificial dopamine, I never read, I never journaled, I never meditated, I never sat with myself. I literally couldn't, because I needed something to suppress my thoughts. I could not sit with myself. I literally couldn't. So take these 7 days as a chance to self-reflect and ask yourself questions like, what do I fear when I sit in silence? What have I been avoiding thinking about? What am I distracting myself from? I know that's kind of like generic ass questions and kind of boring, but the point is to dig deep, really self analyze and understand yourself more and more, because this is your life, this is your body. The only person that cares about you at the end of the day is you. The last thing that I want to end this video with is burning all bridges, because if you're still following along with me in this video, it means that something I said with you resonated. Something I said with you has maybe inspired or motivated you to want to go on a dopamine detox. And as I'm saying, like, the phases through the dopamine detox, it's a lot easier said than done. I get it. I get it, bro. But like I said, it's not supposed to be easy. It's not supposed to be easy. The lifestyle that you want for yourself, that desired state that you have to create in your mind, which you have to take the dopamine detox as an advantage to create that image in your mind of that desirable state for you. Whether you want to be in a penthouse in Miami or Dubai, or just want to have a nice family out in the country, whatever goal it is for you, you have to create that desired image in your head for that man that you need to become, or that woman you need to become. And you have to live more and more congruent to that person every single day with the actions that you take. And in many ways, you are blessed that your dopamine sensors being spiked are your biggest problem. Because you think about it, right? You could be in a war, literally overseas, getting shot at in the trenches, and your biggest problem is going without your phone for a couple of days. Are you serious? So, really give yourself perspective on what your biggest problems are, because I promise you, going without your phone for a day, bro, come on. Come on. And the last thing that I want to say, and what's really going to drive home and make you take action on what I told you today, I want you to commit to this detox doing one of the following. For me, I woke up at 4:15 a.m. for almost 9 months straight, because I made a commitment on social media by posting on my Instagram stories every single day. And I knew that people would see if I fucked up. People would see if I slipped up, because I wouldn't post that day. So whether that's a public service announcement on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, whatever social media platform you need. That's probably the one that I fear the most, but it's really what gave me the most return on my investment because I didn't want to be a liar of my word. Because if I told everyone that I was going to wake up at 4:15 a.m. and I didn't do that, and they didn't see at 4:15 a.m. on my story on Instagram that I didn't wake up, who the fuck am I, bro? I'm just a liar. So it builds more credibility with myself. But the second thing, right, is creating a contract between you and a friend to keep you accountable. And if you do not complete this dopamine detox to the best of your ability, donate $100 to a charity of your choice. The puppies are in need. The cats are in need, bro. So the point is that you need some form of accountability. And if you're still watching to this video, then you need to take action. You can't just listen to what I said today and not take action on it. Like, you already saw what I had to present to you today. Like, you have to take action on it. So I want you to choose one of the following, and I respond to all of my DMs personally. So if you want to have an accountability contract with me, bro, hit me up and DM me and say, like, Ferris, keep me accountable. Because again, I respond to all my DMs. I have my link for that in the description. Other than that, I really feel like this dopamine detox can change a lot of people's lives, not as a, again, temporary fix, but more of a lifestyle change. Let me know what y'all think, and I'm excited to see some of y'all dopamine detoxes. Let's get it.